I also want to say for those, for people, BIPOC people, who are in
I'm gonna come back to BIPOC. I'll come back to BIPOC, but yes.
who are in the green light position, to not cower under pressure.
Yeah.
I just put a.
You want to go to your camera and say that again?
Do not cower under pressure.
You're in a green light position. Do not cower under pressure.
Stand on business.
Stand on business. Okay, business. If in fact a work is good, if in fact something comes across that maybe tells a story that's just a touch controversial, stand in it.
Welcome back to The Fade. I am your wonderful host, Brandon Morgan, and I am sitting here with our illustrious guests, Miss Tene A. Carter and the Miss Angela Rice. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
So good to have y'all here in the corner one time.
Thank you.
Chat and chew a little bit.
Thanks for having us.
Yes,
Happy
thank
to
you
be
for
here.
coming. Thank you for coming. So first, for anyone in the world who may not know you, unlike I do, just give the world an intro of your name and who you are and what you offer, what you give. Not all at one time.
Well, I am Tene A. Carter, born and raised in the county of Dade, Miami, Florida. Graduated at Florida A&M University, and I honestly began my acting career interest when I was 10 years old. I saw cats, and I wanted to be one of them. From there, went to D.C., interned at the Kennedy Center, and it just opened my world. Went to Shakespeare and Company, came back to Tallahassee. Had a boyfriend at the time and engaged, and we drove out to L.A., lived out in L.A. for a while, and made my way to Houston.
Okay.
Yeah.
Miss Angela.
Hi. My journey was a little different. I am currently a founder of a children's organization called Out of the Mouths of Babes. Babes is an acronym for BIPOC Adolescents Boldly Educating Society. And we focus on youth mental wellness, and we use arts as a healing therapy because, as we know, arts heal. And they saved me, and it has been my mission to give back. But I am a playwright. I am a teaching artist, and I do arts integration for schools. I'm also a trainer in different areas, resourcefulness.
Just got them slashes, huh? Just the slashes. Multi-hyphenated.
Yeah, and I love it. But again, I'm a playwright, bigger than all of it at the end of the day. I am a playwright. So that's it. That's me.
So just to make it easy without, giving too much information of your lives, can you give me a little background journey of what it's like to be, little Tene or little Angela into the wonderful flowers we have blossomed into today?
So, I was very shy growing up. I didn't talk. I truly believe I would have been one of those kids labeled as a child because I didn't talk. So the arts helped for me to open me up. My father was a jazz musician, and so whenever I was in the car, hip hop was really big, right? Growing up, he didn't want none of that in his vehicle. So I had to listen to John Coltrane, Miles Davis, Art Blakey, all of them. Ella Fitzgerald, she turned out to be my favorite. So me and tapes and listening to that along with hip hop was really my solace. And I think just as I grew into myself, I really was drawn to the arts. He also was in early productions of Hair, and both of my parents are part of the Black Arts movement. So I wanted to be like them. My mother wrote all that. So I was like, yeah, taking writing classes. So by the time I got to FAMU, they were also very Pan-African. So I knew about James Baldwin. I knew about these shakers and movers in civil rights. So again, by the time I got to FAMU, I was kind of already there. I was reading about ancient Kemet, and spirituality has always been very big in my life and in my household. So that's Tene A, very just crazy shy. And then actually went into general studies when I got to FAMU, thinking I was going to go into medicine, nursing, and then interested in genetics. Thought I was going to go that way. And I took microbiology. I passed, but it blew up my brain. I went over to the theater department, and I was like, can I volunteer? Can I work on a show? That was it for me. I just followed my passion into the arts. So for me, that's my way of healing. And then meanwhile, my sister became the nurse, and my brother became the doctor. So.
Okay. Yeah. Miss Angela, what does little Angie take us?
Well, little Angie was not shy. I started singing. My mom has a master's in music. So I was adopted at birth. So I was adopted into a very musical family. Later found out that the family I was born to, my biological family, is very, all from the arts. My grandfather was an actor. He actually went to Prairie View. So did my Uncle Robert, who's a famous black opera singer. So that was really cool to find out. Tapscott is my blood name. But when I was adopted into my family, my mom started out trying to teach me how to play the piano. If you know me, you know that sitting still for a long amount of time is not one of the things you would associate with me.
Amen. That's why we're friends.
Yes, that's it, exactly. So anyway, I spent a lot of time avoiding the piano, but I could sing everything I played, and that's the only way I could remember what I was supposed to play, because I could read the music, but I couldn't read the music and play the piano. It just wasn't gonna happen. So, but in the meantime, my ear got trained. So that's where my training for singing developed. And so my mom, when I was 9, I started singing. Actually a little younger than that, singing at church. But we started a group called the Little Angels of Hope. This was the first. It was my sister. I don't know if you guys know Alicia Walls, the Walls group. Yes. Her kids, that's my god sister. And so we had a music group called the Little Angels of Hope. And we went everywhere singing. So, like, we would, like, do the 3 o'clock service for all these different churches. It was so super cool, but that's where it started. And we would go, we would perform, and I just kind of got addicted to it. And then that kind of faded out. I always sang in church, but then when I got in high school, things took a turn. I went to Milby. And then Milby decided that I shouldn't go there anymore. And and I left at their request. And so I went on to Sterling, which, you know, was the biggest blessing of my life, because that's where I met Yvonne Dupree. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And she took my little life and absolutely changed it. Absolutely changed it. By the time I graduated, I had won Best Actress all the way to state. Playing Rose, we just got through talking about August Wilson, playing that character. And that experience of learning how to become a character, really learning how to embody fully and immerse yourself into the experience, it changed me completely, because I learned to apply those principles to everyday life, and it got me jobs. because I would read like the job description, like a character description, and then when I would go in to the interview, I was who I needed to be, and that was 100% based on my ability, that what I learned in school. So it molded me, it crafted me tremendously. And I tell people this all the time. All the awards I got in sales, all the stuff that I won when I was in corporate, it was 100% because I'm a good actress. It was 100% because I'm a good actress, because I knew how to adapt the pitch. I knew how to adjust quickly. And people think that the arts is just for the stage. It is not. It translates into every area of life, and that's what it did for me. And then when I got the chance, after I got my children to be adults, I started writing. Well, I was always a writer, but I never put it out. And then in 2015, Fade to Black, I was coerced into just doing it. And I did it. And my life has not been the same.
You did. If I'm not mistaken, I believe the first year that you submitted a play to Fade to Black, it was also the year that it actually won. So but when there was a winner of the festival,
I think
right?
2017 is when they stopped having a full winner, but I was the winner in 2015 and 2016.
And I think I happened to be in one of those shows.
You most certainly were. You played God.
God.
Yeah.
Well, he say today gonna bring me some joy. That's all.
That John got anything to do with Mr. John Tubman down in the lumber yard?
How you know about Mr. John? I ain't told nobody about him except the good Lord. John, I got to tell you, all this tending to is making me wonder what you want from me.
I don't much know what I want, still other than to love you.
John, I got to tell you something that's gonna make you think different of me. You see, when I was just a young girl, I had a fate happen to me. And it caused me to have what they call spells. See, I falls asleep wherever I stand and it's hard to wake me.
That just means you tired from not working on these meetings.
No, it's more to it. You see, when I have these visions, God comes to me. Oh, please help me, God.
Benji, I'm here. I'm always here. I want you to follow me to freedom. Make a path for the others. Benji, you are the vessel by which freedom for so many others is going to come. Take my hand.
Still away, still away to Jesus. I ain't got long to stay here.
Yeah, He
The-
played
the
God
voice
in The
of
Vessel
God.
by Which.
Yep,
Yes.
the vessel by which. So I loved hearing what both of you said about like what the arts did to you, or how it has helped and changed you and shaped you, like from your like young formative years. So. Me knowing that you two are both involved in the Fade to Black or children's division, I'd like both of you just to, give me some insight of like what the arts really does, like to have those skills as a child, and how does that help and advance children and underprivileged children like myself at one point in time. Like, what does the arts do for those kids? Like, how does it help translate? How does it push them forward in what way?
I think it gives you permission to use your voice. And that is figuratively and literally, right? Because it gives you the opportunity to, because of all the training, you have to speak up. A lot of times, especially with our youth, getting them to, unless they're angry, unless it's coming out of an aggressive place, they mumble. They will eat their own words. They will, because they don't feel that what they are saying is valuable enough to be projected. And so I use my strength in the arts to give them that permission, right? To give them those skills that they kind of internalize and then use them, right? Just use your voice. It gives you, and then the other point, and then I'll turn it over to Tene. The other point is, understanding a script is not something that just comes to you. Script interpretation is really valuable in that it allows you to read and then discover. So you have to go deeper into these spaces, right? And if you're doing that on a regular basis for scripts, you will find yourself doing that same thing in life. Right? You dissect it, you break it down, you make it, and you put it into bite-sized pieces, and then you process life as such. And so understanding how that works and relates to scripts and the technique of and being an actor and being a performer, it translates beautifully. Like I said, like with jobs and different opportunities, understanding, that your words matter. And that even your posture when you're speaking and how you stand, and sometimes you can practice those things through characterization. So,
just to underscore what Angela was saying, at Shakespeare and Company, they have the Fall Festival of the Arts. And the most important thing is, and I've had the honor to teach Shakespeare to 7-year-olds on up. And the whole thing was standing in your truth, speaking your voice, standing in your opinion. And that's what I wanted to bring to kids, because as Angela said, especially when you're a shy person like myself, you don't feel like you're going to be heard or even take yourself seriously, and your self-worth is below the ground. So understanding your opinion and understanding that you do matter, you do count, and being this person and your actual lived experience is real helps someone speak their truth. And over time, you can see their confidence just build by the time, because we're both educators, by the time they get to the end of whatever we're doing, they're running it. And it's a beautiful thing to see a child reborn into their strength and into their power. Another thing about the characterization and also reading scripts, it builds compassion, because now you have to walk in somebody else's shoes, especially people you don't like from a distance, right? So we may cast a person, we may give a character to somebody who may have or feel like that's not them at all. But now they have to do the research and, again, use their own personal experience and emotional life to get their perspective. But after doing that play, they have more of an understanding, and they can build a bridge to this person's experience where before they may have cut it off simply off of ignorance on what they saw. But now they can formulate their own opinion, stand in their own truth, and be a compassionate human being, and actually be open to the world around them and feel like they can participate because now they have a better and greater understanding.
That's great. I totally agree, y'all. Like I can personally say I didn't get a lot of arts as a child per se. Like my mother, she does like going to plays, and I've been to plays with her, but I guess ingesting it, but not like re bringing it out. Like I didn't care. Sorry, excuse me. I just didn't care about going to the plays or anything. But when I did find art, like, or when it found me, like it truly gave me all of those skills into my tool belt. I wasn't a shy kid, as anyone can know. I've always been loud. I've always been talking to the top of the room, but never it was never centered, right? Like it was just going out there. Like there was never a reason or purpose for it. And like learning art and knowing the skills that I have, like now I know how to use those skills like so much better. Like you know, like when to speak up, when to project, or like when to stand up straight when you're talking to someone that you haven't met, as opposed to just doing whatever at any point in time. So I totally agree, y'all. Like art has changed my life and saved my life, and I wish that I learned and met art a lot earlier in my life, as opposed to my 20s.
The cool thing is that the students that we teach and encounter, they look at you. As we had a conversation earlier, you are living your dream. And even if it feels hard, those students are like, whoa, he's just in this play, and then he was also in my class in school, and he's really doing this, and I'm seeing him in the newspaper. So it's like they're looking at you and looking to you because you came through so much. You know, so you are a beacon to somebody.
I appreciate it.
Even if you don't know it, you are.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just thinking back, like I was not involved in art at all, like, and not even a little bit. Like the moment I said I was gonna be an actor, my entire family was like, "What? Like is that what you're gonna do? Like, you sure? I mean, we know you crazy, you act crazy, but right. Like you gonna do that? Like we didn't even. When was that an option? Like when was that a discussion? So I don't know, but to further that conversation with Fade to Black and you guys' involvement, just give me a little insight and background into what that is, because I am excited. You know, I love the kiddos myself. I do. So just tell the world who may not know what exactly your charge is for Fade to Black in 2025, the Arts Festival.
Well, I received a phone call from Denise, and she asked if I would be the division leader at the time. And at first I was like, wow, I mean, she knows a lot of folk. And so I thought about it, and I thought, yes, absolutely. And then Angela came on at a later date. And I think with both of us, the intention is, a lot of times with festivals, whether it's theater or film, there's really nothing for kids. They may stop at college, maybe. We wanted to bring something truly for the kids and make it a full-fledged experience, honoring their truth, honoring what they're valuing them. And our theme is we are our ancestors' wildest dreams. So if we think back to our ancestors here in the diaspora, what is the wildest thing that they can think of? And here comes these children who are participating in film, participating in poetry, actually bringing their poetry, because they already write it, they already do these things. We're providing the space for them as well as access to different organizations in Houston. We didn't want this to be something that is, okay, that's at little children. No. This is its own festival in its own way. And it is intentionally this big because we don't have it. There's really nothing like this at all. So that's why this became so important for us. And I'm so happy that Angela is a part of this, because she has these huge ideas. I'm more of the structural person. Okay, let me put this in. Angela's like, okay, but we can do this. And I'm like, whoa. Okay, yeah, let's do it. Because it really, truly is the dream. Yeah. And so we're going to bring it to fruition.
I'm a fan of Angela Rice. I can tell you that. I'm a fan and a friend. I love this lady right here. I do so much.
I think that this festival, though, is is a catalyst for future audiences for our work, right? We get the opportunity to kind of grab these kids now and create a future audience, right? Because here's the truth. If we don't do so, and we're already right now vying for position, vying for, recognition as Black people in the arts, and I can only speak from Black people in the arts because I'm a Black person in the arts. So that's the position that I speak from. And I know that if we don't start to cultivate and create future audiences and create a connection to this art, it will be a dying art. And theater will then drift sadly back to the space of class and elitist spaces, and we really won't have access.
Yeah, and I appreciate what you like. We have to cultivate our new audience, right? Like, if the children are our future, then what future are they going to bring us? You know, and knowing the state of theater now, like just fighting to get butts in the seats by right now, it's like, so in 10 years, like, what have we? What foundation have we laid to further that,
to capture them, to capture the hearts, right? Because it's got to grab you.
It does.
And once it grabs you, it will hold you forever. And that's the goal, right? Because if you've not been exposed to it, it can't possibly grab you, right? And so you have less and less opportunity in schools, school districts.
Cutting arts left and right.
Or cutting arts left and right, and and just disregarding the importance and the value of the arts and what they do to the development of children. And if we don't guard that, if we don't provide outside resources, right? Because these workshops, these experiences that these kids will get to work with the Houston Ballet, Houston Opera, having those opportunities are not all readily available. This forum allows the average child from any walk of life to come in and experience a different level, right? And see what it can be. Just we were talking with which was that?
Houston Ballet.
Houston Ballet with and perhaps having the opportunity to have the students to walk around and see and really get a feel for what these stages look like. Javi is super open to having those students be able to walk around and look at the stage and see the dressing rooms. Really kind of just put your hands on it, right? You're in this space, so now it's not just somebody talking about it, right? It is real.
Like that
it's
moment
tangible.
of you walking into that stage and you see, you like, man, like, I think I want to stand here and do something, right? Like,
that's a magical moment. That moment that we hope that this festival will provide that space, right, for the kids to have that moment. There are a couple of feature things that we are super duper excited about. So one of the things is bringing in mental wellness aspect to what we're doing and having the children come in, creating a booth of sorts, and then they can go into the booth and tell their story, little mini story about life and how the arts affects them, and then put it together in a collage. We are working on several different small projects like that so that the global effectiveness of what we're trying to bring. It's not just theater. It's not just dance, or it's not just those isolated disciplines, but it also connects the arts to life and really trying to create a connection. The hope is that we create a following, right? Oh, I'm going because we had so much fun.
Every year.
And
Or
yes,
every other year.
yes.
Right? Every other year.
And then
Going.
it feeds and feeds and
Yeah,
feeds
yeah.
until finally they're at the adult stuff, right? And now they're in the adult festival,
Man.
and they've been connected since they were in.
Right, like I've been going to that festival since I was 9.
Right,
exactly.
Like,
We put the first film out, so we'll have some 12-year-old now in 10 years is 22 coming back to say, hey, now I'm in NYU
Right.
film school, but look at my first film.
Right.
Right. And so that's the hope. Like
That-
we become
that-
part of somebody's story, right?
We're also in talks with Sensory Stages, and they specialize in neurodivergent or stories featuring neurodivergent stories.
Okay.
And that was super intentional because they're ignored. And not everybody knows how to work with that population. So we are
And just for people who
Yeah.
are unaware of the new term, because neurodivergent is a newer term.
Yes.
And so that speaks to people with ADHD, autism on different levels of spectrum. So that it's now, so it's just so,
Yeah, it's a,
because
it's a,
everybody
it's
is
a
not
new
aware.
all-encompassing word.
Correct.
Yes,
So,
yes.
we are again in talks with
sensory
stages, and
great.
I have a son who has autism, and I know that this works because I did not know how to do. I'm telling you, I've used theater in every aspect of my life. You do not get a playbook when you become a parent, and so I became a mother. I became a character of a mother, and that's what I did until I could figure it out. No, and I'm not even kidding. And I taught my son to read cues, physical cues, because he is Asperger's, so natural connectivity to sarcasm, things of that nature. He doesn't connect to, and so I had to teach him how to read characters, how to read what faces mean, what this means, what that means, and I taught him to do that. And so he would get put in regular classes a lot because he was so good at it. But that's what we did. I used theater to teach him social cues and socialization. Who knew I was doing that? But that's what, and so after I got done with it all, I was like, oh yeah, I did do that. And so then you learn how to pass those things on. So this is the goal, learning to use those things to assist in everyday living, one, and then also teaching others how to work in direct contact with students who happen to be neurodivergent. And so I'm excited about that part because that's something that is not always offered.
Yeah, not at all, actually, especially through the arts.
Exactly.
Especially.
And so having that population be invited to be included in a festival, right, where there is space for them doing the arts,
Yeah,
like
and that'll
actually
make
being
people
a part.
want, because
Exactly.
people with children who are on the spectrum, like they're always constantly looking for something
that's
to give them something inclusive and a type of normalcy for them, right? Like
exactly.
they're still children, they
Yes.
still want to play, they
Yes.
still want to run around, crack jokes,
Exactly.
giggle, and like to be around like-minded people with knowing what the arts can do, like
and that would also provide an opportunity for artists who may not have worked with that population before, or even if they had, this will give them more tools, right, and really connect to that population and really understand and give a different perspective. So yeah, we're excited about it.
Look, 2025 is going to be
1 year from today. It's actually 1 year from today.
It is. That's insane. It's coming fast. It's coming fast. So my next question to you ladies is a pretty double-edged sword question, kind of open-ended, but the state of our theater. Now you can minimize it to Houston or global, but like, what is the state of our art or theater here? I'm gonna just say Houston. Like, are we pushing forward? Are we pushing the envelope forward? Are we pretty stagnant at where we are? Like, are we going in a direction that is advantageous to us as black people? I'm gonna just say that. Are we moving in the direction that we need to be in this city, and if we are not, what are we missing? Like, what are we lacking? What are the steps and things that we need to put us on a track to go forward? I believe Fade to Black is one of those steps, honestly, but where do we stand? Like, how are we, or what can we do to move us, propel us forward?
There are a few directions I could go.
You can go most of them here. You can go most
with
of
that. But I would like to have houses look to local writers. And give real opportunities to be included in their seasons. And this does not have to come without a piece being workshopped. It does not. And I'm not talking about just the ensemble. I'm not talking about, no, I'm talking about opportunities for local writers to have their work presented on a grander scale, not it just be one or two here and there peppered in, and most certainly very few of us. And so everybody is not writing mama don'ts.
Amen.
I'm not knocking them. Do your thing. But we aren't all writing that.
There's so much.
We write.
Black people do so many.
Can I say we write? We have real stories. Not that our experiences are not real.
Fair.
But that there is a genre that is polluted, populated. Ooh, did I say polluted? I meant to say populate, overpopulated.
Saturated too.
Sorry. It's oversaturated. It is a lot, right? And I think what has happened is that because we have so many testimony plays, the art of storytelling dissipates, and we don't give ourselves as a community the right forum to put forward really good classic work, right? That these pieces, we have so many stories, and we have so many different directions that we can tell those stories. I just wish that once we do create those stories, there was somewhere to present them.
Man.
I would like to see, so I'm going to take it from the perspective of somebody living in Los Angeles, been outside of Houston and then moving to Houston. There is so many people here who have so much to offer, so much to give. You really don't have to leave in the sense of if there was more opportunity.
Amen.
Because I often, with y'all and coming from out there, the voice isn't big enough about how many people here are just really that good. And they are. Because when I go back there or talk to people outside of there, I'm like, y'all, this all this stuff that's here in Houston, y'all just have no idea. But because the opportunities are not as much, you have to look elsewhere. I would say that gap between George Floyd, may he rest in peace, to this year, there was, began to open, and that was Hollywood too. Yes. And now, let's just say
back to the regularly scheduled program. Regular program. Hey, you can say, baby, we are in the corner of the fade. Right. Please speak in peace. Right. Do not forever hold it.
Okay. And I'm like, all right, I guess I will be looking on right back. So my prayer is that more money, There's so many of us who have put up their own work.
Amen.
We need more spaces, which means more grants, which means we officially do have a lot of black millionaires and billionaires out there. So reinvesting back into us so that we don't have to fly to New York and audition. And nothing wrong with that, because we've all done it. Put up stuff there, we've all done it. But why not do it here? Because it's so rich here.
Yeah,
but
it is.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this, even because when Brandon went with, I took a show to
my
New
first
York.
time ever going to New York, y'all, to do a show was because of Angela Rice. I'm just saying that out loud. I never went there to do a show in my life. I did a play in New York. In East Manhattan. Was it East Manhattan? I think it was East Manhattan.
And A Child Shall Lead Them.
A Child Shall Lead Them. It was phenomenal.
The story of Claudia Colvin, which was actually the second year that I won, the piece I won Fade to Black with in the 2016. It was flushed out and developed, and we took it to New York. But let me say something, and this is not, okay, I'm in the corner, so I can say what I want to say.
I'm probably going to say it too.
So we get there, and it was like, okay, we were like all nerved up, right? Coming from Texas, because we were like, oh my God.
We're in New York.
We're going to New York.
We're scared of these people almost, right?
Oh my goodness.
We're the real actors.
Everybody that hits the stage is Denzel. They finna, everybody just cutting up. So we like, A-game, let's go. And everywhere we stopped, we rehearsing. Like, we had a picnic in character.
Yep.
We did it all.
We did.
Listen, because we're not going down here being embarrassed.
Exactly.
Texas is showing
Y'all
up.
not gonna show Texas bad today.
And so what was crazy is it was a festival, and they put our show in the middle of a show, which was the dumbest thing I'd ever heard of. And I don't mean no harm, Lord. If you see this, y'all, I tried to warn you. And I said, that's probably not a good idea. This show is intense. They didn't believe. They said we were from Texas. They decided that we're from Texas. Of course we don't. We're pulled up. We don't, we're hillbillies. We walked in there and shut it down. You don't even understand tonight.
Today it was man. I start getting goosebumps, man. It was a moment. It was a moment. Like it was a great theater moment for me, myself personally. Like being there and watching the shows. Like you expect to see such a high level of work, right? Like it's just your assumption, right? You go in, and I'm not trying to say that anyone was bad, but I think that we were just a little bit better at that time. Like in that moment,
we were a lot better.
Lot better. We changed the atmosphere in that place. And people had done shows already, and they were good. But I mean, like, we changed the atmosphere in there, and everyone after that show, they were like, man, we have never seen acting like that. And in my head, I'm like, damn, we act like that every day.
Yes,
like, this is what we do every day.
Like, that was the whole point of what this story is that we were going there thinking that that's where the talent is. Like, everybody that comes in, because all the people who want to be something, they're going to New York or they're going to LA. And so the impression is that because so many come, that the pool of talent has to be greater, right?
Really high.
And so when we came, it just baffled them how good we were. So what that says is that y'all don't know that we are in Houston
tearing it down. Tearing it down.
It is my hope that this festival, both the Children's Festival and the Adult Festival, really, really, really shine a light on the gifts and the natural talent for the arts that exist in this city. And we will be on parade. We are going to be on parade at that time. And so we are super excited, just excited to see where this is gonna go.
I'm so like as a person who has been involved in Fade Black for so long, like watching the train from when it started and like where it has docked at now and where I can see it go. It is mind blowing. It's mind blowing. I'm just so happy to like be a part or say like, hey, I definitely had a part in that somewhere along the line from start to finish. Like it's mind blowing. I just can't believe what Fade to Black is going to be. And you read things, you talk to people. I got friends in other acting markets all over the nation, and like nobody's doing this. Like it's not happening anywhere. If anybody's doing a play festival, it's like 3 or 4 plays, right? You probably got one black writer in the festival at all, which only allows for about 3 to 4 black actors in the festival. And it's not a festival happening here. This is like elsewhere. This is New York festivals and DC festivals.
Quality roles.
In quality roles.
You have to allow for that too, because if it's not a black writer, I'm gonna just be real honest. And what I have discovered, and I'm not all the time right, but if it's not a black writer, the roles for black characters are always supportive, always minuscule and pop in, and sadly stereotypical in some way. So I yearn for scripts that give substance to who we are, right? Because we are such a complex group of people that is so much to choose from. We don't all have to have gold teeth and tell our hood tales.
Yeah.
We don't all have to.
Or gotta walk all over God's hip. You know, you gotta hip. You got to do one of them.
You got to do one of them.
Walk all over God's hip.
You got to hit the stroll. Or walk all over God's hip. It's somewhere in the middle. We actually, you know what I mean? It's a whole life in there. It's educators in there.
Doctors, psychologists.
We do not have to pause on preachers and pimps. We do not have to pause.
I had this conversation with my friend a lot about like the lack of variety in black art. Like you can watch a white show, right? They are either in Victorian periods, right, or like way in the 1900s or in the future, right? You got doctors, you got variety, you got skits, you got sketch comedy shows, you got animes, you got dry comedy, right? Like there's a variety of, like, if you aren't that type of person, there's something for you, right? And that doesn't exist for us as black people. Like when because there's such a lack of, like, when one black thing is made, like all black people have to basically gravitate towards that, and a lot of people don't like it, and they like, how could you not like that? And it's like, because that's just not me, but this is the only thing we have. So it's like, now how do I, like, it's not my cup of tea, but there's nothing for me on the other side, right? There's nothing sci-fi for me, you know, there's nothing dry comedy for me or slapstick for me. Like it's just this thing, right? Like this BET thing, right? We put it on BET. Okay, I don't like it, so now I have to watch it or like it because there's no other thing for me to ingest. Like,
and so in order for it to create other roles, we support it. And even though we're talking about theater, there is a streaming service called Quayle TV that's for black people, by black people, and they show content from all around the world, diaspora. And my short film that I shot in 2020 is on there called On Control. But this morning I was watching a cartoon from Nigeria It was really cute too. And they have a film about Black Mexicans on there. They have a documentary about Haiti. So, and they have sci-fi.
That's exactly what I'm speaking to. That's what I'm speaking to. Like that variety is what we look for and what we want.
But understanding that getting us in positions of power to green light programming and green light different projects that show us in different lights. It shouldn't have to be a documentary. You know what I'm saying? Like, it shouldn't have to be a documentary before we get a chance to connect and relate to something. Our everyday existence is a miracle, just wading through the water of life. And so there are so many tales in and out of that, and in between that we can write, we can tell those stories. I have a garage full of them, just stories. And I will just be overjoyed at the day when we can turn on the television and have a variety of our stories be told. Because how many different ways can you tell how you sold crack? How many?
Only one way. You sold it, you died, or went to jail.
That's it. That's the story. Every time. That's it.
You gotta pick one.
Or you had some homies. You got your way.
Oh, man.
But what I would like to see is something like a Quayle TV for theater. I'm just going to throw it out there to the universe. Maybe they'll stick with somebody. Just this different variety. You have your, I don't know what it's called in theater, sci-fi theater. You have that. You have your avant-garde. You have your,
gospel.
Your gospel theater. You have your classic theater, right? Contemporary.
Classic,
And whether that space is a YouTube space kind or another kind of match or match itself or whatever it is, something like that. Maybe that's a festival, but something that can show those different varieties and different stories and different ways of who we are and how we show up. That would be cool. That's accessible all year round.
And it just brings me back to my point of why Fade to Black. The mission of Fade to Black is so important. Yes, it is centered around Black playwrights, and for me as an actor, it's the most important part of my daily life and job. Because without your words, I don't move. I don't have a story to tell, and you are only going to tell the story that I know of, right? You're not gonna tell a story of something that I'm unfamiliar with, or I have to find within myself what that means and how to feel like that. This is of us, right? We know the walk. We all feel the feelings without knowing each other, and that's Fade to Black. For that reason alone is the most important, because the more product means there's more work for me, y'all. I'ma just say it. If Angie write 10 plays, I could do at least 9 of them. Right? You know what I mean?
Every time and twice on Sunday.
I could do 9 of them. And that means that's 9 jobs for me somewhere. Somewhere. Right. And for me, it is mandatory. It's mandatory we have more Black writers writing these stories and collecting these tales and to give to us, because it's I forget what Mr. Milan's son said, it's almost like a time capsule, right? We're writing these stories for them to live forever, it's not for them just for this moment. These tales will live forever, just like the Uncle Remus stories and the Anansi stories. These things will live in perpetuity, forever. So
I also want to say for those, for people, BIPOC people, who are in
I'm gonna come back to BIPOC. I'll come back to BIPOC, but yes.
Who are in the green light position, to not cower under pressure.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
put a.
You want to go to your camera and say that again?
I do not cower under pressure.
You're in a green light position. Do not cower under pressure.
Stand on business.
Stand on business. Okay, business. If in fact a work is good, if in fact something comes across that maybe tells a story that's just a touch controversial, stand in it, right? Because if we don't have these mind-altering pieces of work, then what are we doing? Theater is designed to change lives, right? To alter perspectives and to challenge those things. And exactly. And so if in fact everything you throw up is lollipop, cookie cutter, we are the world, shala. You understand? How much change are we affecting, right? Are you moving people? Are you moving the dial? Are you moving that emotion inside of a person that makes them run out of that theater and want to make some change in the world, to be a part of something that's going to be significant and altering the world, right? And so don't be scared. Don't be scared. At least have one show that has people outside picketing. One. You gotta have one.
I like that.
You gotta have one. We used to.
I like the controversial.
Yeah, we used to back in the day, though, right? We used to back in the day. We used to because and those things moved the mark in the civil rights movement. Those pieces, right? Lorraine Hansberry, all those writers, they moved with their words. They moved the dial, right? They moved that measure. Right now, everybody's just so pleased to not argue. Some good trouble. Sometimes you gotta get into a little good trouble.
I'm familiar with trouble. Good and bad.
Little good trouble. Let's see what happened after that.
Speaking of good trouble, there's this little thing we like to do here called Fade It Forward, right? So whatever good trouble or good ideas or maybe a little bad trouble, constructive or not, productive or not, the idea is just, give your nugget of information, your golden nugget of ideas or what you think another person in your position would do. You just fade that information forward to the people. You don't have to give it to me. You can give it to your camera, to the people out there, like whatever that may be. It could be personal, it could be artistic, just something for somebody, just whatever that thing you want to fade forward to someone. You can give that freely whenever you're ready.
Think outside the box. It sounds cliche, but here's what I mean. There's always a way. If there is a passion and there is a calling and a mission and something that has been placed on your heart, find a way. Find a way. Go to the front door. If it is not open, I am a fan and a full witness that the window is always open. You may have to climb, you may have to hoist yourself up, you may get scratched up on the way, but you will get inside. And you will have the opportunity to do what it is that you were called to do. It's not easy all the time. And it's not always a simple walk through the front door, but that does not mean it is not what you are called to do. Go around the back, send a bird with a message to somebody to say, hey, meet me around, lead a back, like whatever you have to do, use those avenues and get it done. Do it with integrity so you can always stand flat-footed and know that what you did was done in good faith. And you keep your name intact while you do this, but don't allow anybody to tell you that you can't have what it is that you have been destined for.
Ashe. You are an emissary for spirit, and stand on your truth. When things are down or seem stagnant, it is truly a rebirth for you to transform into something greater. Ashe.
Today I needed that. I needed that more than you do, man. I appreciate that so much. Like, you know, when things get dried out, you know, that means it's time for something new to happen, and I'm receiving of that faded forward. You just faded it on to me. I appreciate
Right across the table.
Man, thank y'all, ladies, so
thank you.
much. Oh, dropping into the fade.
Listen, be on the lookout for our pop-up series
Yes.
that we're gonna have.
Okay,
It's a
okay.
bunch of exciting things that will be coming up throughout the year, leading up to the full week of the festival. And so we're gonna be everywhere. We're gonna do everything we can to be in schools, to connect with organizations. So when you see us coming, we're coming to ingrain you all into the fabric that is Faded Black.
Amen, amen, amen. Well, thank y'all for stopping in with me. Thank you. Once again, everyone, this has been another episode of The Fade with my illustrious guests, Miss Angela Rice and Miss Tene A. Carter. We will catch y'all again next time.
Bye. See y'all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Corey, shut it down. It's hot in here. I was like, I gotta shut it down because Angie over here sweating.
baby.
Angie's starting to
Let me tell
sweat.
you something. I start glistening.
Look, I touched Angie.
I say,
Angie
Lord,
was
please
damn.
let it look like a glisten. Just let it look like a glisten, if
I
you would.
was like, Angie,
Instead
damn,
of a
y'all,
whole.
shut it down.
Let me tell you something. I'm over here. I'm 51. I'm having a whole menopausal experience over here, and I just want y'all to know that the love of Fade to Black is real.